Hey guys, Heavy Arms 45 here. Now, I got real deep into Nancy and I got real serious about it. Like I said, I really like his character. I think he's pretty cool. But, like I said, I'm going to try and be a little bit lighter with it, but we still talking about Black History Month. So, with still being Black History Month, I figured I'd go ahead and look through my library of anime and see what characters I can find out of them that are black. Now, I found about 13 black characters in my library, and I'm going to say something about them. Keep kind of light and short if possible. But I also want y'all to know is I didn't just go to each anime that I saw and just try to find just one person. So there's not a one per anime, but they're also not all in order. They're in alphabetical order by their names, but not by their animes. And if they are in the same anime, they won't exactly be next to each other. So if you see someone like, oh, this guy's on this part of the list, and this guy's on no, names are so far apart that I put them in different places. Now that I've explained myself, let's go ahead and talk about these. Now, the first person that I found was a guy named Bandai. Bandai is from Danganronpa. He is one of the first people in season 3 of Danganronpa to pass away. He was, as you can see, he has a big smile on his face, real happy, looks like a big tough guy, but he has a little bitty voice, and it's so funny. And I kind of was sad that he had to be first one to go. But look at that hair. Doesn't it look awesome? Then we go ahead to an anime called Black Lagoon, where we have the character Dutch. Dutch is the leader of the boat that we see our bunch of riffraffs on. And he's cool. He's real mellow. The only thing he doesn't want you to do is mess up his ship. But they're mercenaries. They just want to make sure they get their money also. The next person that we have here is a girl that a lot of y'all should know from Beserk, Casca. Casca is the one who basically, out of everyone in the show, I want to say she's the one that messed up the worst. I mean, when the guy that you have cared for your whole time of doing battle suddenly betrays you, like the way her friend did, it kind of hurts. And he doesn't just betray her, but that he treats her like trash, like he does, just to hurt somebody. And it just didn't hurt her, but also this other character. And I'm trying to be somewhat vague in everything I say in this, because this is not going to be, if you want to know what happens, I suggest that you watch these animes, because they are actually good animes. The next person we have is Kasapa from Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphan. Now, Kasapa doesn't sound like a black name, but look at that skin. He's a pretty good dark brother. And he's basically a general mechanic. He's the person who makes sure that all the kids in Iron-Blooded Orphans, not only their mobile suits, but all their weapons are together. And he makes sure that everything's up to shape to be able to do anything they need to have done. And he's sort of like a father figure to them, but he also understands each one of the kids that he's around this is how they are, this is what they're going to do. I have no control over that, because all of these kids are independent. But if they ever need to talk to him about anything, he does take that father role where he tries to tell them what they should do, or help them through their emotional times, like when Orca is just like kind of messed up over what happened with Biscuit. And when people don't understand these kids that he's working with, he's able to tell them, well, you have to understand this. And he's, like I said, a good father figure to them. Then you have Killick Rung. Killick Rung is from Soul Leader. He is, I want to say, one of the best fighters in Soul Leader, but you don't get to see him fight a lot. But look at them glow. Like, he's ready to box, he's ready to fight, do whatever he need to get stuff taken care of. And I've heard that I probably should. I wish I would have saw more of him in Soul Leader, because he actually does look like he could be an interesting character. And he remind me of kind of like Lucio, like if he about to hit somebody, like, let's break it down, But he's a cool dude. Next we have from Naruto, Boruto, whichever one you want to be from, Killer B. Killer B is the embodiment of what basically you would find in the whole Village Hidden in the Clouds. He is a black character, and all of them have the kind of like blonde hair, but they all are black people. And he's like anybody else. He wants to be a rapper. Not many people want to be a rapper like him, but he thinks he got some sick spit game. But everybody think they have game sometimes. So why not Killer B? Then we get to The Promised Neverland, where we have Corona. Corona is, there's not a good way of explaining. Corona is one of the villains in the story. She's out for herself, just like any type of villain. They're always out for themselves, trying to find some way of helping themselves a lot of times. There are exceptions to villains who want to help other people, but she specifically is just trying to help herself. And she is in a way trying to use a system that she came up in to try and help her gain an advantage over the other villain. But the problem is that she doesn't think far ahead enough. And I'm almost gonna get serious on. She's one of these people that thinks that she can buck the system from the inside, but then find out that the system, in a lot of cases, is not in her favor. She's been thinking the whole time that she's gonna get what she wants, and she gets what she wants in a way. And I'll leave it at that. Another person that I have after Corona is Ray. Ray is from Kill la Kill. And if you don't remember her, go back, watch the show. The main antagonist had an assistant, and the assistant was Ray. Ray wore a nice little white suit, and the picture that you see right there is after, like, the last episode when she decides to be a soldier. And she was a very loyal person. She was kind of be, in my mind, like Steven in Django Unchained. She was saved by the antagonist from a life of danger, and because she was survived from that life by this person, she is now completely dedicated to him. Hence, like, why I say she's like Steven, because when Miss York Candy died in Django, Steven still kept everything going like it should after he left, the way that he figured that Calvin Candy would like it to be ran. And in a way, that's what Ray tries to do. continue to be a soldier for her ex master. Um, then we have our next person, which is Sid from Soul Eater. And if you're like, I've never seen that person before, doesn't he look a lot better before he died? Yes, the zombie that you see through Soul Eater the whole time, that is what he originally looked like. And I don't know why they decided to kill him. But I think that he probably would have been a good character if they would have kept him alive. But, either way, he is one of the smartest characters. He was always going off on missions for Lord Death. He went out on missions for Lord Death as much as Stein did, and all the death scythes that Death had during the later arcs of the anime. So we know that he was a reliable character, that he could get stuff done. And I wonder why the reason was, and maybe it would be more detailed if I read the manga on why they decided to kill his character, because he seemed like a cool person from what I know of him, which is apparently not much. Now we have my favorite Russian, Simon. Yes, Simon is a black Russian in Japan selling sushi. And the name of this anime is Durarara. So if you knew that, congratulations, you knew something that I just told you. So I'm basically being obvious. But yeah, Simon is always trying to sell, like giving out flyers to people on trying to get them to come to their sushi bar to buy sushi from them. And he has a very thick Russian accent. And, I always wanted to go to an anime convention dressed up as Simon, because I think that he's a very friendly guy. And that if you mess with Simon, he's gonna be real nice until you get to that point where you don't get on his nerve, and then he's going to fight you. Because the one person that I thought was hilarious was the moment when he ran into Shizuo, and Shizuo was about to get ready to belt somebody. Or I think he was finna belt Simon. And Simon was able to stop him. Now, if you know anything about Shizuo, Shizuo is not someone that you basically just stop. Shizuo throws vending machines, trucks. He is a powerhouse. And he's smaller than Simon. But it was funny just that, like, Shizuo has broken people's bones with what he can do, and like completely beating people nearly to death. And Simon was able to stop him with relative ease, And as you see, I'm talking about him more than I did some of these other people, because I really did dig his character. He is he's a black. He's a black man that basically doing pretty good for himself, even though we say he's Russian, which I've never. And the reason I'm kind of like, if you can hear, I'm kind of laughing about it, because I've never seen a black Russian. So, that's just another thing added onto the story of who Simon is. Now, we get to a character that I actually did a cosplay of, which is Tosin from Bleach. Yes, I did do Tosin one time. It wasn't the best Tosin, because I'm not as, I don't have the Tosin figure. So it would be like watching somebody come in trying to look like Luffy, and they look more like Fat Albert with the Luffy costume on. It just doesn't work. But I tried to do it. Didn't work out. Cool. But Tosin is a blind Shinigami, or Soul Reaper, whichever one you want to call him. And he's a cool character. He, well, I'll take it back. He was a cool character. And I tried not to spoil things, but the early parts of the character, I really respect him because the whole thing about Tosin was that he was all about honor. He wanted to, well, not honor, but justice. He wanted to make sure that justice was done in always. He believed in justice because when he was younger, he had a friend that died because someone did not dispense justice. So he felt that his job was to find true justice. And in his search of trying to find true justice, he sort of got himself wrapped up in some stuff. And he went from being, I think, a very good leading character because he was one of the 13 captains of the Soul Society in Bleach. And he went from doing that to basically becoming another henchman monster near the end that basically got him killed. And his power was so cool when he was in Soul Society. And he kind of just, when he decided to be a henchman, he kind of screwed himself over and lost. He lost all the respect I had for him in the first place when he did that. And that kind of pissed me off. I like Simon. I like Tosin. Tosin pissed me off with the way his character went. He just became another lackey. Just like Ray and just like Corona, they all in the end were just lackeys of someone else. And they paid for it in the end, I'll say. The next person I have is someone, he's somewhat obscure, and I'll give you that. But his name is Veil Tado Zulu. He's a Zulu, as they put it, pure fighter from the anime Baki. Now, Zulu, well, I'll call him Val. Val is sort of a berserker. He doesn't care about the way he wins. He just likes to fight. And there's nothing wrong with someone liking to fight. You know, that's the whole point of watching Baki. Everyone is in this blood sport, and you win any way you can possible. But the thing about him was that, and the reason I decided to put him on here was, he is one of the only characters during the tournaments that they have that actually beat Baki. If I remember correctly, in the middle of a fight, them getting ready, Baki comes out. He's like the champ. They said, yeah, you know, I'm gonna have time to wave at people, show how great I am. And he turns around, and Vale just beats the brakes off him, knocks him down on the ground, and then everybody's just like, did Baki just lose? I think Baki lost. And he did. But the only reason that Val didn't keep the win, because he beat him, was because after he beat him, he then came back and started whooping on Baki again. Because he, like I said, he's a berserker. He didn't care about if it was a knockout or whatever like that. I think literally he wanted to kill Baki. He didn't think it was over in his mind until Baki was flat on the ground and there was no chance of them saying, well, you know, he can get up and fight again. No, he wanted Baki gone. And my final person that I have on my list is my favorite girl from Bleach. Sorry, Rukia and Orihime. But Yorichi is one of the greatest fighters in Bleach that I saw, period. And I'm so sad that he didn't give her the time she deserved, because her fights were awesome. She She is one of the first captains that you meet that you didn't know was a captain. Well, no, she's not the first captain you saw, but I won't say she is the second captain that you saw that used to be a captain, so ex-captain. And you know her whole story, which they never explain why she's able to turn to a cat. But do I really care? No, it was kind of like a good reveal that, you know, this black cat that's been going around in Bleach the whole time is this right here, this pretty purple-haired black girl that has been around for years. You know, I would love somebody to fight me over this, because I really think that she was one of the best. I think that even after all the mangas also, I think Yoruichi could still beat Ichigo or anybody else in Soul Society. Because the one thing that she had was that out of all stuff that was going on, we saw that everybody in the Soul Society had everybody in the Soul Society that used to be a captain still had a Zanpakuto, but you never saw Yurichi's Zanpakuto. You know, you saw Urahara's Zanpakuto, but you didn't get to see her and what hers could do. But the stealth captain, I can't remember what her name is right now, like admired her, thought that she was one of the best captains there was before her. But we don't know really what she did. Like, she had great skill even without her Zanpakuto, but I really was wondering what would happen if she would have had that Zanpakuto in her head and would have whooped everybody. But these are the black characters that I was able to find. Like I said, some of them just basically go back to being minions. I like Sid and all this stuff, but he was just another person that was following someone else. He was with Lord Death. Like I said, Corona, Ray, and Tosin were just plain henchmen. You know, you have people like I forget, Killick from Soul Leader and Dutch, who are somewhat the leads in their stories, and you had some of them that were traumatized or died before you really got to see what they could do. And some of them, I would like to say, are real talented. I think that Kasapa, or I think they just call him Pops in Gundam Nine Blood Orphan, he actually, like, he stayed in his lane. Yeah, he was not a figurehead in the show, in the anime, but there's really a lot of black characters that you see as the actual leads. You know, Simon, like I said, I like Simon, but he's not a lead. You know, he's a part of a team, but he's not under anyone. They're all working together to make this sushi shop work, and he does his job of putting out flyers. And you know, I think he has a good smile because everybody else is rushing and they don't really want to go out. They don't even seem happy a lot of times. Like, they enjoy having the sushi bar, but they are not happy. They're not like out there smiling like Simon does all the time. Simon, and as you can look at all their faces from pictures you see, they're not what you would consider disgraceful to black people or anything like that. They look like respectable characters besides Bandai, and it's not because Bandai doesn't look. It's just that that smile kind of creeped me out every once in a while. Just like if I saw somebody smiling like that all the time, I'd worry. But these characters, besides Killer B, because Killer B is just embarrassing because he can't rap, but he tries so hard. That would be like me trying to sing to y'all like I did I think I did on a couple of videos, and if you thought I sound like a cat that was drowned in water, I'm sorry. But these characters aren't bad looking. They're not an insult. I know a lot of times you hear people talking about I'll say somewhat bad views of black people, like Jinx and Mr. Popo, and people take offense to them. I've never thought of Mr. Popo as a black man, if that sounds weird. Because Mr. Popo is a character that he's been around a long time. I might have considered him a dark elf, maybe, but Popo has never made me think of him as anything more than just he's Mr. Popo. I guess I never saw him as a stereotype of black people. I just thought of him as Popo. Jinx is just, I felt like it was a giant black blob that was trying to hide that it was just a giant black blob. Like the Pokemon that tries to look like Pikachu because it's the most famous Pokemon out there. That's the way I've always saw Jinx. I never saw her as something like, oh look, this is a stereotype of black people. I just thought them as characters. And like I said, I'm trying to be a lot lighthearted about it. They're just who they are. If you take offense to them, I'm sorry that I said that. But these are just my views. These are just comments. The characters are cool. If you like any of these anime, I suggest, if you like any of the drawings or how these characters are, how I describe some of these characters, go check them out. I think that you'd have a fun time looking at them. If not, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.